ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः।
अमानित्वम् अमानित्वमदम्भित्वम्
अमानित्वमदम्भित्वम्
अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम्
अहिंसा क्षान्तिरार्जवम्
आचार्योपासनं शौचम्
आचार्योपासनं शौचम्
स्थैर्यमात्मविनिग्रहः
स्थैर्यमात्मविनिग्रहः
इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम्
इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम्
अनहङ्कार एव च
अहङ्कार एव च
जन्ममृत्युजरा व्याधिदुःखदोषानुदर्शनम्
जन्ममृत्युजरा व्याधिदुःखदोषानुदर्शनम्
इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् वैराग्यं from raga विगतः रागः यस्मात् स विरागः that from which raga has gone away is called viraga. In viragasya bhava vairagyam, the state of viraga, the state of mind from which all the raga has gone away is called vairagya. So although only one word raga is used, we should know that raga and dvesha are like the two sides of a coin. So raga, for one thing, will be invariably accompanied with dvesha or something else. Raga means attachment. Attachment is dependence. That kind of relationship that I cannot do without something. So we'll also discuss in the next value also. So when something becomes very important to me, and that does, when I look upon that as the object of happiness, as security, as well-being, in presence of which I feel well, comfortable, in absence of which I become uncomfortable, unhappy. That kind of a relationship is called attachment or raga. Ranjanat raga. Ranjan means to color. Our mind becomes colored. A given object or thing is able to color our mind. Therefore, we do not see that object as it is, but we see with colored glasses. So, because of raga or attachment, accompanied with dvesha or aversion, when I am attached to something, when the possession of that, experience of that, enjoyment of that becomes very important to me, then anything that becomes possibly an obstacle to that possession, to that experience, to that enjoyment, equally becomes the object of dvesha or aversion. It will happen. When raga is there, dvesha is going to be there. Because if things are few and people who desire them are many, not only that, but there is always an obstacle in achieving something because so many factors are involved which must become favorable to me. So raga and dvesha, attachment and aversion always go together. This is very well demonstrated by Indian movies. There's one heroine, First two fellows who wander. So raga for that, creates dvesha for this. So our mind, when it is dominated by raga dveshas, then we do not see things as they are. We see things as colored by our attachment aversion. And thus we live in our own private world, which is called Jiva Srishti. In Vedanta, they talk about two kinds of Srishti or creations. One is Jiva Srishti, other is Ishvara Srishti. The creation of Jiva, creation of Ishvara. The universe of names and forms is the creation of Ishvara. But I rarely see that creation as it is. I superimpose something upon that. Either look upon that as an object of happiness, or look upon as a source of pain. I may be indifferent to other things also. Raga, dvesha, udasinata, attachment, aversion, indifferent. But what I am indifferent to today has the potential of becoming the object of raga dveshas. Today I may not bother about something like a rock lying on the roadside. But if there is a flat tire in my car, and I need to lift the car with a jack, I need something to stop that car from rolling. So that rock, which otherwise I am indifferent to, also becomes now a desirable thing. Anyway, so this, therefore, freedom from raga dvesha or vairagya, Vedanta gives a great importance to vairagya. And the way of getting vairagya is viveka. By deliberating upon the true nature of things. By seeing things in a light different from what they are, by projecting upon them a value that they don't have, or projecting upon a potential unpleasantness which also they don't have. Meaning that the world can neither make me happy nor can it make me unhappy. If something seems to make me happy, it is because I have superimposed a value upon that thing which it doesn't have. And similarly, if something seems to make me unhappy, then again I have superimposed upon that something on that which it doesn't have. So reality is that nothing in the world is a source of happiness or unhappiness. It is usefulness, but not happiness or unhappiness. So whenever the mind, we find our mind being attracted to something, apply this reasoning. What is its true nature? Its true nature is freedom from source of being happy or unhappy. It cannot help me, nor can it hurt me. It can be useful to me. So don't throw a baby along with bathwater. As Swami used to say, money is nothing. Don't say money is nothing. Don't say money is everything. Also, there's another extreme. For someone, money is everything. This follow, money is nothing. That also is not right. Money has its own place in our life. And it may have its own usefulness. Money is an example. Anything and everything has its own place in the scheme of things. May have a place in my life also. So we should respect everything, understand? Just because it does not give me happiness doesn't mean I disrespect it. I respect everything because it is. Asti, it is. Bhati, it shines. Riyam, it is dear. So everything displays or manifests manifest asti bhati priyam. So respect for everything. In fact, love for everything. Because ultimately the universe is nothing but the manifestation of Ishvara. What is Ishvara Srishti? What is creation of Ishvara? Ishvara himself manifests as a creation. Because he doesn't have anything to make, he doesn't have any, means to create something. For creating something, you require the nimitta karanam, like pot maker requires a potter's wheel, requires clay, upadana. Bhagavan doesn't have anything. Ekameva sadeva swami idam agrasit ekameva advitim. He is one non-dual, has no assistance, has no support, no help, no material. And how will he create? Tadatmanagya swayamakurudaya. Upanishad says, he made himself. Meaning what? He made himself as universe. He manifests as a universe. So that is real Viveka, ultimately. To see this universe of names and forms as a manifestation of Ishvara. Where is Ishvara Swami? Is there Bhagavan in this table? Microphone? In this chair? Is there Bhagavan? Is Ishvara there in this table and chair and pillar and post and ceiling? In it? Cannot be. Ishvara is consciousness. How can he be in this? Can it be? If Ishvara is not in there, that means Ishvara is devoid of this. He becomes limited, isn't it? For Ishvara to be Ishvara, he has to be one without a second, meaning that nothing can exclude Ishvara. Otherwise, he becomes limited. So he has to be everywhere. Is it possible to see Ishvara in these pillars and posts? Is it? Yeah, they're all right. It's a safe answer anyway. When Swami is asking this question, it is safe to say yes. But it's true. Everything has Ishvara. This is, flower is, flower shines, flower is dear. It is a name and a form. Asti bhati priyam. Asti bhati priyam rupam nama chetyam sa panchakam. Adyatrayam brahma rupam jagad rupam tatotrayam. Right? So a text called Drishya Viveka tells us that every name and form has these 5 aspects. That asti, that it is, bhati, that it shines in my consciousness. They're not ordinary things, they're big things. Priyam is dear, is lovable, attractive. So it may be lovable to you. I don't like it. This lovable is a big problem. There is no problem that it is. It shines in my consciousness. Asti bhati is okay. We are all in agreement. But priyam, don't tell me. This one is priyam? No, not this one. It is lovable. This is a beautiful flower anyway, it could be lovable. But if I display something like this, But everything is potentially a source of happiness. Everything, every name and form has the potential of making us happy. Meaning that it is possible that you can enjoy any name and form. Swami, that's not right. We can enjoy a few things, not everything. What prevents us from enjoying the beauty that is here. Today for me, this is beautiful. This is not beautiful. This is beautiful. This thing. This rose is beautiful, isn't it? Something like this. So we are not able to see beauty everywhere because we already concluded what is beautiful. A face is beautiful only when it is like moon. A nose is beautiful if it is nose of like a parrot. Swami used to say, these Kavi poets have created all kinds of complexes. And confined the beauty to certain things. Well, the face is like moon, then it is beautiful, what about something else? It's not beautiful. By calling something beautiful, we seem to be declaring that other things are not beautiful. But everything is beautiful. What is beautiful? When would that be? When I have no preconceived notion of what beautiful is. When I approach something, I already have the notion of what is beautiful. What face can be called beautiful? What body can be called beautiful? What flower can be called beautiful? What pillar can be, I have my own notion of what beautiful is. And when a given thing fails to meet with my expectation, I declare it as not beautiful. But suppose I did not have any such preconceived notion at all as to what beautiful is. My mind was completely free. It's free from what? Free from all raga, and there is real vairagya. See, what does vairagya do to us? Or when do we know we have vairagya? Vairagya gives us freedom. Vairagya enables us to enjoy everything. Vairagya means Swami, I am now Vairakta. I don't like anything. When they describe Vairagya, they say, I don't like that. Now I don't enjoy anything. After listening to Vedanta Swamiji, I don't enjoy. Formerly I used to enjoy TV. I don't enjoy that also. Means what? He is now devoid of every enjoyment. That's what Vedanta has done to him. Formerly at least he could enjoy some worldly things. After listening, this is all mithya. This is not happiness. So that world, that is also gone. And happiness, Atma has not come, That world is in limbo. Vairagya doesn't mean that I am indifferent to things. People, I dislike things, that's not Vairagya. I don't touch it, that's not Vairagya. You need not touch it. I won't touch it. So state of mind when I reject something because it's not worthy of being touched, I don't say that you touch everything. But in my mind, to reject something is not, as I say, it may be a necessary practice in order to cultivate certain amount of detachment, etc. Vairagya does not mean that I don't like a given thing. I'm not comfortable. I don't want to give me, I won't take it. Not enjoying something that you have. That's not what Vairagya is. Vairagya gives the ability to really enjoy everything without being addicted to them. Today when I enjoy something, in that process I get addicted to that, become dependent upon that. Vairagya is the ability to enjoy something without being addicted to that, without being bound by that, without being dependent upon that. Raga dveshas make us dependent. Raga dvesha element makes us bound. So whenever I relate to something, it is not that something that binds me, it is not myself that binds me, it is an element of raga dveshas which is there in that interaction, that's what binds. So vairagya means that freedom from attachment and aversion. Meaning that then we can context something as it is. Today we context something as we perceive. We have our own perception. We do not see or appreciate things as they are, but we have our own perception which is colored by this attachment and aversion. The extent to which we become free from that, we come in contact with really what it is. And as the mind becomes free from raga dveshas, become closer to Ishvara. But that's what it is. What's the statement there? All there is Ishvara. Where is that? Ishvara. All there is Ishvara. Where is that? In that black. But that is reality. When does that become reality for us? When our mind becomes free from raga and the superimposition. Attachment is a result of superimposition, meaning superimposing value which it doesn't have, and aversion also is a result of superimposition. Seeing some danger, seeing some fear where it is not. Very important. Vairagya is so. In fact, a text called Parokshanubhuti talks about the Vairagyadi Chatustam, it says, Not Vivekadi Chatustam, Vairagyadi Chatustam. Viveka is, but then, Viveka is Vairagya. Viveka has become mature only when we find Vairagyaness, then the Viveka has become mature. So Vairagya is an important thing. And I've been saying it every day anyway, watching our mind, identifying this is called attachment, this is called aversion. And constantly striving to neutralize the attachment and aversion by Pratipaksha Bhavana, by the contrary attitude. So Vairagya gives us freedom. You feel free. Free to relate to anything. That doesn't mean you keep on hugging everything. That's not the point. But then, free to relate because you are free from all your preconceived notions. It's a big thing. And that brings us close to reality, Ishvara. And this becomes our vision. All there is Ishvara. We take the second line, verse number 8, Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Dosha Anudarshanam. Darshanam means seeing. Darshanam means seeing. Anudarshanam, seeing again and again. Anudarshanam, seeing again and again. Seeing again and again what? Dosha Anudarshanam. Dosha means a defect. The defect that is involved in things. Meaning the dukkha. In dukkha eva dosha, so pain or suffering that is involved. Repeatedly seeing the pain that is involved in janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. An interesting thing that Lord Krishna asks us to do. Lord Krishna is asking us here to all the time deliver on pain. Can that be a value? Pain involved, so janma, dukkham, mrityu, dukkha or dukkham. Jara, dukkham, vyadhi, dukkham. See, the fact that dukkha or the pain is involved, or suffering is involved at every stage in life. Recognize that this human life is full of pain. Looks like a very negative way of doing, isn't it? Swami, this is no good. We are always asked to think positively. This is negative thinking. It's negative, isn't it? But Vedanta does not prescribe negative thinking or positive thinking. Vedanta wants right thinking. Positive also is trying to psych up my mind that I am all I am and everything will go positively. Negative is opposite of that. What Vedanta wants is the realistic thinking. Thinking about things as they are. That there is pain. It's not that you see the pain which is not there. Very often we fail to see the pain which is there. So life goes by and we do not realize what pain or suffering is involved. Not that Lord Krishna is asking us to create suffering, but suffering is involved all the time. Just be aware of that. Why is so? When I become aware of the suffering, then there is an impulse in me to get me free from that. I don't want suffering. Nobody wants pain, or nobody wants suffering, isn't it? Sukha prapti, dukkha nivritti. As much as we want to attain happiness, equally we want to get rid of unhappiness. So when we see the pain or suffering involved, at every moment, here Lord Krishna tells us a few important things. Where the suffering or the pain involved is very evident. Scriptures describe those sufferings also. There is a Purana called Vishnu Purana. And the Maitreya is the teacher. Vidura is teaching. And this is what he describes. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi, Dukkha, Dosha. In Vidura, you see this. Janma. Well, you don't know that there was pain in birth, but they say birth is painful. I don't remember. Ado karma prasangat karidhikalsu matrukoksha sthitama vinmutra medhya madhye kathayatyaho jataro jataveda. So Shankaracharya describes in a stotra called Aparadha Kshmapana Stotra, Shiva Aparadha Kshmapana Stotra. Shantavya me Aparadha Shiva Shiva Bho Mahadeva Mahadeva Shambho Ho Mahadeva Shambho. He Mahadeva, He Shiva, He Shambhu, He Aparadha. This defect of omission or commission that I have done, please forgive. Oh Lord, I have done so many things which I should not have done. So when, of course, here the context is different. When I was in my mother's womb, he says, karma prasangat is my prarabdha or the karma that brought me to the womb of the mother. They say that is not the coziest place in the world. Vinmutra medhya madhye. This description says that this fetus is in the urine and fetus and stuff like that. Jatara. And the Jataragni, the stomach fire also is very hot. So this fellow is all the time being baked in the heat. In the filthiest thing in the world. So this is how I had to spend my time when I was in the womb of mother. Tatravi, what dukkha, the experience there, shakyate ke, who can describe the dukkha that I had to put up with when I was in the womb of my mother, in the midst of all this filth and heat? So they say. Puranas say that when this fellow in the womb of the mother, he told God, please release me from here and then I will worship you. Because I don't want to come back again. So all right, so he is released from that. Even the process of birth also is ejected, from the womb of the birth. It's also very painful, so they say. And it's a chance. If the child cries, well and good. Doesn't cry, the doctor will give a slap. If he doesn't cry. So birth is painful. Even the dwelling in the womb of the mother is painful. Birth is painful. So dwell upon this. Why? So that in me there will arise this conviction that I do not want to be born again. I don't want this pain. The purpose of dwelling upon the pain or suffering is to create vairagya, that I do not want this suffering. So Lord Krishna wants us to dwell upon the pain or the suffering that is involved in different stages of life. Janma, Mrityu, of course death is painful. So not only birth is painful, Shankaracharya says even childhood also is painful. When I was born as a child, that time also, Lord, all sorts of insects that you have created, they would come in all the time, sting me. I was helpless. There was no energy in my limbs that I could even remove that mosquito. Therefore, he is sitting here and stinging me and causing pain. I had no strength in my sense organs, my hands. I could not. Helplessly I was suffering. Balye dukkhatariko malal lulitavapu stanyapane pipasa no shaktas chendriyartho. My indriyas have no shakti at all. And this description is miserable, since this child has no idea about what is sanctified, what is pure, what is impure. My body, was anointed with fecus. He doesn't know. Stanya all the time craving for the mother's milk, etc., etc. No shaktas chendriyam jara. So Vyasayati, all these creatures created by you all the time were tormenting me. And so the pains, oh Lord, that I went through in the childhood is, we don't remember that. But childhood also is very painful. That time also, see, he gives an excuse as to why I could not worship him. Shantavyo me parada shiva shiva go. Oh, hey Mahadeva. There was so much pain when I was moved to mother that there was no occasion for me to worship you. So much pain in my childhood also that there was no occasion to worship you. I was so preoccupied with pain. Then describes his youth, which is not painful. Then I was intoxicated by all kinds of impulses coming from the world and exciting me, etc., etc. So therefore I could not worship. Because Shaivi Chinta Vihinam Amrudemaho Managarvadi Budham. That time it is Manam, Garva, pride, arrogance, that is what my mind is occupied with, not with Shiva. How can I remember it? Please forgive me. Became old now. But my mind is not with me. All the time anxious, worried, what will happen to my children, what will happen to my son, what will happen to my grandchildren, what will happen to me? How can I worship him? So how the whole life goes away without the worship or deliberation upon the Lord, because all this pain, suffering, samsara is all the time preoccupied my mind. Janma, lot of pain. Mrityu, there is a vivid description of the death in that Purana. How slowly prana, even Vedic Upanishads also descriptions are there. It's amazing that our Upanishads also talk about death elaborately. They talk about everything. And how karma makes man, it's like this Jivatma is like a passenger in a car, which is all, making all kinds of noise and stopping everywhere. And so, similarly, when the prana is going, it doesn't go easily, and what pain is there. Anyway, so also meditate upon the pain involved in death. We don't want to die. Recognize there is pain involved in death. Because prana does not leave easy. I don't want prana to leave. I want to hang on to this life. Then what causes more pain? If I prepare myself for death and I accept that as an inevitable thing, as simply a station. In India, in the olden days, there is also in the train, there are train junctions, junction. You change the train. From one train to that train. From this train, you collect all your baggage. Don't leave a single thing. You count how many bags you had when you entered the compartment and count 70 pieces of bags. Stay there. So that is what death is, junction. Change from one train to the other. I carry all the baggage, that's alright. Into the next birth, that is true. So, but I don't want to die. I think that is the end of it. I think that I will cease to exist when the body does not exist. I equate myself with the body, therefore death of the body is death of the self. That is not so. But anyway, that is what causes pain. It is so Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha, the strong attachment to the body, the strong fear from death. Avidya, Asmita, Raga, Dvesha, Abhinivesha. In Sankhya, Yoga, there are 5 kinds of klesha, suffering. Anyway, so dukkha, mrityu also is very painful because mainly of our attachment to the body. Old age, jara, very painful. I can't sit. After getting up, I cannot get up. After sitting, I cannot climb up, I cannot climb down. Nothing wrong in it. But Swami say, I earned my wrinkles. But we suffer in old age because we feel helpless. I want to do something I cannot do. To climb those steps, I cannot climb. Helplessness. In the old age, there is a sense of helplessness. And people also treat you with a contempt. Old man. Gone. Move away. In the home also. The old person, so what is it Shankaracharya he says, Yavat vitto padan shakta tavan nija parivaro rakta pascha jivati jar dehe vartam kopena prachati gehe. As long as the person is able to earn money, has certain position, so long even the family members also respect him. Pascha jivati jar dehe. Then he continues to live with infirm body. Vartam, when he is young and able, how are you doing this morning? Everybody asks you of your well-being, and then when old lying in a corner, nobody bothers to ask your well-being. Vartam kopena prachati gehe. You feel bad, you suffer. A sense of rejection. So, old age also is very painful. Physically painful and emotionally painful. Physically painful because of infirmness, emotionally painful because you don't count for others. You're no more useful. You no more can help. And the people don't care. You care for someone who is helpful to you. That person counts in your life. The So once you retire, the exercise starts from there on. As long as you are working and earning so long, even the spouse also gives respect. Once you retire, then you stay home. The problem is, this fellow spent all of his life commanding people around him. Now he's retired, so he's at home. So he does the same thing. His wife says, please go to sannyas ashram. Do your japa, listen to lectures, So jara means old age also, physically and emotionally painful. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi. One means the old age is far away. I don't have to worry about something. Death is far away. Old age, I'm young. Old age also is far away. Nothing to worry about. Birth is gone. But there is vyadhi. Vyadhi means disease. Any time it can come to me. And there all sorts of viruses are there, all kinds of bacteria are there, all kinds of pollutions are there. And so disease of all kinds is also painful. So Anudarshanam, Lord Krishna says that may you constantly dwell again and again on the pain and suffering that is involved in the human life, associated with the body. So all the pain associated with the body. So Vairagya. I do not, Swamiji, I do not want to be born again. People tell me, I do not want to be born again. That is because this life has been so frustrating and so miserable that I do not want again. That is a different thing. But Lord Krishna says, see, so much pain and suffering is involved for creating Vairagya. It's not negative thinking. It's thinking about the realities that do exist in our life. As I say, human life is painful. But I talk about emotional pain. When we say that human being is most miserable, it is the emotional pain that he suffers. But then the physical level also, a lot of pain is involved in the birth and death and old age and disease, all suffering due to physical body. And so, to create Vairagya, that I do not want to be born again. Also, our Swami would say that this Lord Krishna says, Lord Krishna also says in the 9th chapter of Gita, Anityam asukham lokam imam prapya bhajasvama. Hey Arjuna, please worship me. Why? Because you have limited time. Anityam lokam. This body is anityam, is impermanent, is perishable and unpredictable. We cannot plan for future also. Nalini dalagata jalamati taralam tattva jivitam atisha chapalam. In the Bhajagovinda. So there Shankaracharya says, this life is as uncertain, as momentary, as that of a drop of water on the leaf or a petal of lotus. So how the water is unsteady on the lotus petal. These are ways of saying, not to discourage us, not to create, negative, but to recognize reality that life can end. So this one man comes to a saint of Maharashtra, I think it was Ekanath. This man comes to the saint and says, so you are so peaceful. I am so worried, so anxious. What's the secret? How can I become free from anxieties? So saint says to him, I will talk about that later. But from the lines on your forehead, I see that you are going to die a week from today. That's what? He says, yes. Right? I mean, now the immediate problem is his death. After 1 week, the saint went to that person was lying in his bed, all peaceful. His face reflected all peace and tranquility. So they asked him, what happened? You seem to be at peace and tranquil. I told you that you would die after 1 week and you were at peace. He says, yes, Maharaj. So you told me I would die after 1 week. So I said, I'm going to die now. You know, I thought that let me settle all accounts and I'm not to be around anyway. So whatever debt I had, I paid them. And what other people owed, I just, sanctioned. I said, I don't know. Settled the account. People who were hurt, I went and sought their pardon. Settled account. People who hurt me, I pardoned them. I'm going to die. So what's the point in now holding on to these things? Therefore, I settle all the accounts, holding on to nothing. And nothing to worry about now. I am at peace. That is the secret. So all sorts of accounts you are holding on in your mind, that's what creates all. So therefore it says, the death need not cause necessarily fear or frustration. But that is going to happen someday, and therefore what is the way to be prepared? Settle all accounts. It can happen next week also, it can happen any time. So need not wait for 50 years. Swami, I'll be there for 20. People tell me 20 more years, I mean, they know it. When Bhimsen said to Yudhishthira that I'll do something tomorrow, then he started. So wonderful, you know that you'll be around tomorrow. So it's not that death is something which is unfortunate, it also has some lessons to teach us. Being prepared for death means settling account, that's all. Then I don't want to carry any burden with me here. I want to become free from all the burden here. Settle all accounts. No karma is left. Nothing to carry, no baggage left with me. So there will be no, the next birth will be there, provided I have still accumulated a lot of baggage. What compels us to be born is the baggage of this raga and dvesha. And these are all the baggage that compels me to take the birth. I have the freedom to settle all those accounts, become free from baggage, no birth. So this death also can teach us a lesson of how to live life. Whenever Vedanta talks about death, it is not so much about death as much as about life. In the 8th chapter, Lord Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tejatyante kalaivaram tam tamevaidi kaunteya sada tad bhava bhavina. Whatever will be the last thought at the time of death, whatever is the last thought at the time of death, that is what determines my destiny. The last thought determines my destiny. So people plan for the last thought. Swamiji, I will remember Narayana, 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 and we also help him. You find the person is going, you also loudly chant, which we should. You don't know if he's hearing or not. You don't know whether you can remember Narayana, because sadatat bhava bhavita. The last thought is not that we have will to determine what the last thought will be. The last thought comes on its own. What determines what the last thought is? The thought that I have entertained during this life. Sada tat bhava bhavita. Whatever bhavana, whatever thought, attitudes I have entertained during the life, that attitude itself presents before at the time of death. I don't have any freedom to determine what my last thought will be. Just as we do not have freedom to determine what my dream will be. Do we have? On the pillow we write sweet dreams. I could determine what my dream will be, it would always be sweet. Then I don't want to wake up also. Some people do. Doesn't happen. Dream happens. Whatever is the predominant thought in my mind, that's what determines the dream. So what that thought will be? How to determine that the thought at the time of death will be a desirable thought? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mamanusmara yudhyacha. Therefore, at all the time, remember me. Yudhyacha, in case of Arjuna, and fight also. Because Arjuna said, thank you Lord. You said I should remember you. Then I should retire to the forest and I'll remember it. He says, no. For you, remembrance along with this battle, along with your duty. But if he doesn't have the luxury of renouncing the duty, that doesn't mean that the remembrance of Lord cannot take place. Yudhyacha. You have to perform the duty. The duty itself becomes an occasion to remember the Lord. Sarveshu kaleshu ma manasmara. If we have entertained this bhavana or thought of Lord all the time, then that becomes the most powerful thought, then that's what will present itself before me at the time of death. So discussion about death is meant to educate us about how to live. So this one also, this dosha darshanam, reflecting upon the pain and suffering and the defects involved in life, is not to create a disinterest in the life. Is to live the life intelligently. That you may not be able to do when you get old. You may not be able to do when you have a disease. You may not be able to do at the time of death. Prana prana samay kapavata pittahi kanthanurodhanam vidam smaranam kutaste. Oh Lord, when I am dying at that time, my throat is all choked up with cough, etc. And how can I talk and utter your name? So right now, help me that right now my mind gets locked up in your feet. So this is the lesson for us to use our time properly. That we have limited time. We do not mean to say that death will come is around the corner. That may be negative thinking, but preparation of death means intelligently using the time. That we have limited time and a long distance to go. This morning we talked about turning the flow of mind inward. Now that's a huge task. And therefore use the time. Ihacheda vedit atha satyamasti. Nachediha vedit mahati vinasti. Upanishad says that while we are here in human life, if you attain the goal, then the life becomes worthwhile, successful. Otherwise, we do not know what is waiting for us, what karma we accumulated in our sanjita karma, and what will determine my next life, etc., etc. So, janma, mrityu, jara, vyadhi, dukkha, dosha, anudarshanam. This reflection upon the dosha defects involved in all these stages is meant to be realistic, meant to recognize that this is not something that I want to happen to me, and therefore vairagya should be a healthy thing. Vairagya should always be based on reality of life and not in imagined things. You don't imagine pain and have vairagya. The pain is there. So recognize that and then vairagya. There will be realistic vairagya. Otherwise, smashana vairagya. At the time of cremation, people go to the cremation ground and see this, oh why, this was going to happen to me also. No. So there is vairagya at that time. As long as you get cremation ground. We come out of cremation ground, where do we get Coca-Cola? He's thirsty. So Vedanta will teach vairagya based on understanding of realities of life. That's all. Viveka is understanding things from what they are. That's called aviveka. Knowing the rope is rope. Knowing rope is snake is called aviveka. Moha, bhranti, delusion, whatever you want to call it. And seeing rope as rope is called aviveka. Seeing things as they are is called aviveka. So the Lord Krishna is showing us how to look at the things because that's what they are, and that would create the